Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Thursday. Today we're so excited to have the fabulous Bianca with us, who is an expert in many things, I can assure you, because Bianca and I were in LA together in September. And
yeah,
there is nothing that Bianca doesn't know.
Oh, sure.
I'm being serious. Like, you're an expert in lots of different things. We could have a back every week on a different subject. But today, Bianca's going to talk to us about sleep, which links in with the work that we're doing this week, which is all around like nutrition, food, and health, which is amazing. So we're so grateful to have you here, Bianca, because you're a very busy lady.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Cheryl.
But it was amazing, wasn't it? Just to tell you a little story. So when we've been in a coaching program together, and last year we went to LA in September, and actually, Bianca and I were sharing. We're in this big $6 million mansion, basically, but it was like a little outer house, wasn't there? And we had a bedroom each, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. We had the beach house, so to say.
Had the beach house, so it was pretty cool. But we got to know each other very well, and like I say, like in terms of knowledge and being an expert in what you teach, like literally, Bianca is one of the best. So we're very blessed to have you here within our community, sharing your expertise.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here with you, Cheryl.
Thank you. So, yes, do you want to talk to us about sleep?
Yeah, so sleep is a big issue at the moment. A lot of people contacted me saying, hey, Bianca, I just can't sleep. And I'm already doing all the things, right? But I still can't sleep. And usually the first thing that people start doing when they can't sleep is they buy an eye mask, blackout blinds, they buy these blue light blocking glasses. They turn on the blue light filters on their electronics. Maybe they're starting to ban electronics from the bedroom. They turn the temperature right down and maybe meditate before bed. But hey, they still can't sleep. Then they go on all the supplements. You know, they start taking lavender essential oils. They start maybe starting to take magnesium and other minerals, melatonin. There's cookbooks that tell you what to eat for dinner so that you can sleep better, and that still does not work. So what actually works for people is something that's completely unexpected, and that's what I want to talk to you guys about.
Amazing. And I just want to put my hand up when you talk about all the things that people doing, me being one of them, to try to sleep. I mean, I'm generally a very good sleeper, but I have my periods of time that I go through where I have bouts of unsettled sleep. I take supplements, I meditate, you know, hell yes to a lot of those things that you just said there. And I know just from talking to our community over the past couple of weeks, particularly with COVID happening, it seems to have unsettled people even more.
Yeah, exactly. So anxiety levels are a lot higher now, right? And they do affect our sleep. They do affect how we eat. They do affect how we sleep. So eating is actually really, really important for sleep. It actually takes all day to mess up your sleep at night. So wow. Irrespective of what you do just before you go to bed, right? Because there's this massive focus on people's bedtime routine. What you do during the day is actually so much more important for sleeping well than your bedtime routine.
Wow.
I think to people, they watch TikTok videos before going to sleep and they all sleep like rocks because they've sorted out their habits during the day.
Wow.
So and I have a chart here actually that I was going to show you for all the visual people. So here's how people's stress levels accumulate during the day. So basically your stress levels are low in the morning. They're low in the morning and then they go up throughout the day. And what happens is that in the evening, you've got all this pressure here on your evening routine to try and relax you back down so that you can sleep better. And that doesn't really work for people, you know. They do all the things in their evening routine, but it's not working. So here's the alternative. It's to actually, rather than allowing your stress levels to go up like this, is to take regular breaks during the day and have your stress levels down here, you actually be a lot more productive during that too. So by taking breaks every 90 minutes, your stress levels won't accumulate to that high level, and you're going to be a lot more productive when you're not as stressed. So you're hitting two birds with one stone by taking regular breaks. And I know it's not easy to take regular breaks, right? Because as entrepreneurs or as high achieving employees, it's all go, 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 gotta be productive, gotta do stuff. And there's this little voice in our head that keeps telling us, hey, mustn't be lazy, gotta keep going, gotta be a really useful little engine, right? I'm reading these Thomas the Tank Engine books to my children at the moment. It's all about being a really useful engine. So, but here's the thing, you need to fuel up the engine so that the engine can keep going. And in order to fuel up the engine needs to take a break. You can't go around in circles around the island of Sodor all day long without filling up your engine. So that's what we're doing by taking breaks every 90 minutes. And that increases your productivity as well.
I love that. Somebody was just saying I sound like I was in a goldfish bowl, so I've tried to put my headphones in, so hopefully, and turn the volume down, so hopefully I sound better. But that is so interesting, isn't it? That we just power through during the day to whatever time at night, and then that's so interesting. We give ourselves what we try in our nighttime routines that we talk to our clients about. It's like trying to start 3 hours before bed. But what you're saying is a completely different concept. You could be lying in bed an hour before on your phones or whatever you choose to do. It's the daytime that's much more important for the nighttime. To keep the stress levels down.
Yeah, exactly. And it's actually the first thing that you do in the morning that's much, much more important than what you do in the evening. So researchers found there was a research experiment where they divided people up into 3 groups. They taught one group about sleep hygiene. They taught one group about exercising, right? And they taught one group to expose themselves to really bright light from a light box first thing in the morning. And the group that got the best improvements in sleep quality and quantity was the group that exposed themselves to the light from the light box for 15 minutes.
Really?
Yeah. And the reason why this works so much better than sleep hygiene or exercising is because as humans, we run on this 24-hour clock. We run on the circadian rhythm, which is actually slightly longer than 24 hours long. So on average, it's about 24 hours and a quarter. That's why when we tend to go on holiday, we tend to sleep in longer and longer as the holiday progresses. It's because it's our natural biological clock is longer than 24 hours. So 8 o'clock becomes 8:15, becomes 8:30, becomes 8:45, becomes 9, right? And then people tell me, oh, Bianca, I think my natural body clock is much later than I have to get up for work, because on the weekend and on holidays. And it's like, no, this is your circadian clock. It's normal for all of us.
Yeah.
So what you have to do in the morning is reset it every day. And you do that by exposing your eyes to really, really bright light. That's what sends the signal to the part in your brain that then tells the rest of the body, okay, it's the start of a new day, guys. Let's get moving with, what each cell of your body has to do during any given time of the day.
Wow.
So that's the secret trick, right? And I live in London, so there's lots of people around, even now during COVID. And I see so many people with sunglasses first thing in the morning. And I just want to tell them, lose the glasses, lose the shades. First thing in the morning, you sleep so much better at night.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so I'm loving this because it's like a new perspective and concept. So do you think that then, so when people struggle, because we're in the summer now, so we'll have like the mornings, like loads of people seem to be getting up and going watching the sunrise and things because of the time we're in. And then when it gets to like the darker months, like, do you think that's why that impacts, when people get this
Yeah.
Call it SAD or whatever it is, where
Yes, seasonal affective disease, exactly. So that's thought to be caused by lack of light, because you see that people who live in northern countries have got much higher rates of SAD than people who live in countries with more light exposure during the winter months. And one way to mitigate that is with a light box. So expose yourself to that light box at the right time for you in the morning, like say half an hour before your work day starts, right? So that your internal body clock knows, okay, it's the start of your new day.
wow. And somebody, Wendy's just saying that she has a SAD pad light box and it's going to come out every morning now. Well done, Wendy.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. So on a morning, basically get yourself into light as soon as you can, because it's triggering something off in your mind, your brain cells, to let you know it's the start of the day. And that helps you to sleep better at night because it's your circadian rhythm.
Yes, exactly. Because the circadian rhythm then tells your body, tells different parts of your body, it's your turn now. Say your liver kicks in during the night to detoxify the body, right? Your gut kicks in the morning to start digesting. So your primary circadian clock sits in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
You have two hormonal glands in your brain, and they're basically telling the rest of your body what to do. Your secondary circadian clock sits in your gut. So the second best way to reprogram your circadian clock is to eat something for breakfast. And I know so many people who skip breakfast because they're either not hungry or they had a really heavy meal the night before, or it's just not their habit, right?
Yeah.
If they have sleep problems, then one thing to change that could make a massive difference for them is to, rather than having a large meal at dinner, have breakfast instead of having a huge meal, and then have a slightly smaller dinner and see how that works for you.
Love that. Wow. So, and it's right, like you say, because we get up on a morning, we might do the morning routine, but I mean, I eat meals. I'm a religious meal eater, so I always eat breakfast. Like that's just part of what I do. But I know a lot of people get up and it could be lunchtime before they have something to eat. So again, eating breakfast sets something off. Did you say in your circadian rhythm? So then that helps you sleep.
So eating breakfast basically mobilizes your gut. It mobilizes your digestive system,
Right.
where your second circadian clock sits. So most people have probably experienced this, where you go to the movies or you go on the Netflix binge at night, right? And then like, oh, I feel like a pizza now. You eat a pizza. And then, there's no pizza without an ice cream. So you have like a tub or two of Ben and Jerry's, right? And then you don't really sleep that well afterwards. But what's happening is that your gut starts believing, oh, it's daytime. I'm getting all this food. I'm working now. So when your gut is working, the other organs that detoxify your system at night can't do that job properly. And then you wake up tired. Is there an echo? Should I put my earphones in as well?
Yeah, there's I can hear a bit of an echo, but I thought it was coming from me. But that is, honestly, this is so informative. So, because we all do it, particularly like I'm quite clean during the week, but then it gets to the weekend and I'm like, on a night, gets to about 9 p.m. and I'm like, get the crisps out, picking while I'm watching something on Netflix. So this is so interesting. So then your gut then thinks, it's daytime. So then it can't do the stuff that it needs to when you're asleep.
Yeah. So the liver, for example, the liver detoxifies detoxifies at night, the kidneys and other organs. And the liver can't really spring into action if activity is going on elsewhere.
Wow.
So then the liver doesn't really do its job properly. And if you wake up in the morning with like aches and pains in your joints, for example, that's a sign of inflammation, which is a sign that your body didn't detoxify properly at night.
Yeah.
And heavy meals, alcohol, caffeine and chocolate, they all contributors to that, sadly.
Wow. And I know, Bianca, obviously living together when we're in LA, like you teach this stuff, but you live and breathe it. You do. I've seen you. You know, you really you're an expert in this stuff, but you really live what you practice, and you can see the impact on your health. Like remember when we went out for dinner, we're in like LA, we went down to the Sunset Strip, didn't we? And it was the Friday, we'd been doing some really intensive coaching work. By the Friday, everyone else wanted to have a blowout. We'd been in the mansion all week, we're like this at the bar, drinking alcohol, weren't we, stuffing pasta and things down, and you were like, oh, I just want a green tea or whatever, or water. But it's true.
You made it sound really boring now.
No, it isn't though, is it? It's because you practice what you preach.
Yeah, so here's my story, right? I haven't always been like that. I used to go out on the piss and stuff my face with pizza and chips and cheese on top of the chips, right, as well. And I used to really suffer. It really affected me really, really badly. You know, I was at the stage where I needed 3 coffees in the morning to get me out of bed, and where I was going from chocolate bar to chocolate bar during the day, right? And just so stressed, constantly beating myself up that I hadn't done this, that, and the other at work, and that I was feeling so tired, right? And then I spent my weekends catching up on sleep. I once even slept through a wedding because I went for a little snooze in one of the flats, and I never woke back up for like the wedding breakfast. So yeah, and then I eventually, you know, realized that I wasn't doing it right when I fell off an exercise bike during a gym class at my workplace, actually. So that's when I decided to get help. And over my recovery, I learned that it's not what you do, it's how you do it and the timing of when you do it that makes such a big difference. And even after you learn it, it's really, really hard, still really hard to do it all, because your mind is like, oh, if I don't drink alcohol, but everybody else is drinking, they're not gonna accept me, right? I'm gonna be the outsider. They're gonna ask me to leave, right? Or your mind is spinning like all these stories, like, oh my gosh, everybody else is drinking coffee in the morning. I'm not drinking coffee. Is something wrong with me? You know, do I belong to these people? Are they gonna accept me? And of course, that's not consciously going on. That's like subconsciously going on. And then I noticed myself doing things like, I don't know, doing things that don't serve me, like order triple espresso after I haven't drunk coffee for like 3 weeks. And it really hits me, and I can't sleep for 2 nights in a row because I'm not used to that stuff anymore, right?
Yeah.
So actually, when I did the mindset work, that it all changed.
That's amazing.
About sleep, yeah.
That's amazing. And I think, you know, a lot of us, me in particular, like I've been working with a nutritionist for a couple of years, so I understand about the circadian, like prime example. So Donna and I were on a coaching call until 10 o'clock on whatever night it was, Tuesday. Now, my rhythm is come 9 o'clock, I'm in downtime and I'm calm. So to keep myself going for the next hour, I thought it'd be a really good idea to get a bag of fruit pastels out of the cupboard and stuff some sugar down. Kept us awake till 10 o'clock. I went to bed. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning with a jumpy leg, and I didn't get back to sleep till 5 o'clock in the morning because, and I knew when I got up the next day, it was the sugar. Had done something to us, because I don't normally eat that amount of sugar at that time of night, and I literally was awake for 2 hours.
Gosh, it's blood sugar levels are so important for sleep. So that's another link between eating and sleeping, right? It's the timing of your meal. So if you have a massive meal before sleeping, that's not going to help. But it's also sugar. So even if it's just a tiny little sugary snack close to bedtime, what happens is that your blood sugar shot up during a coaching session, right? You were on fire between 9 and 10, right?
Yeah.
Probably delivered an amazing coaching session, as you always do, right? So And then what happens in your body is like, okay, my blood sugar is like sky high and I'm buzzing and I'm doing it, right? I'm coaching and I'm being at the top of my game and my clients are seeing amazing results. And then you're buzzing afterwards still, right? So then you go to sleep. It may take a bit longer to go to sleep because you're hyper. And then what happens is that your blood sugar crashes a few hours later, right? So when you woke up with your jumpy leg, that was probably your blood sugar crashing. And what happens when your blood sugar crashes is you either get hungry or your body produces cortisol, which is a stress hormone like adrenaline, because cortisol also balances your blood sugar out. So when your blood sugar goes really, really low during the day or at night, your body produces cortisol to balance the blood sugar out. But what it also does is it gets you hyper again, right? It's a stress hormone. So when there's a lot of cortisol, you can't sleep.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And we know as females puts a lovely layer of fat around our tummies.
Ah, yeah.
Which we just love. I mean, isn't that amazing for us? Honestly, but that was literally, I got up the next day and thought, like, I knew what had happened there. Not to the detail you've just beautifully explained it, but I just was thinking that was ridiculous. So this is so useful. And somebody on Facebook has put eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper.
Exactly. You got it. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
So basically rethinking our whole day from when we're waking up, sunlight, and then making sure that we eat a good breakfast because it's letting our gut know it's daytime.
Yeah, ideally, yes. And even if you can't eat a lot, because we're all different, right? Everybody's unique. So if you never have breakfast and you're not sleeping very well, then maybe start with just a little thing, maybe some fruit, or maybe a smoothie, or maybe like half an avocado, just something small to get you going.
Yeah, absolutely. And then as we're going through the day, a break every 90 minutes to try to keep the stress hormones like that rather than like this.
Yeah, yeah.
So, because you teach mindset as well, what do you recommend for the women who are, like you say, high performing entrepreneurs who have this inner powering through masculine, got to do it, go?
I know.
Like, how do you go from that? How do you go from that to being disciplined?
Yeah.
Taking breaks.
Yeah, exactly. How do you start getting more discipline about the breaks into your day, right? When it's all do go, and you don't want to take that positive momentum away, right? You're in the flow and you just got started on like a really amazing task and now you're supposed to take a break. Hang on, Bianca. No, I'm not going to do that. So here's what works for women. If you're like a flow person like I am, then I don't give myself 90-minute time limits. I say I want to do this, and then once I've done this, I'm going to reward myself with some sunbathing or with something that I like a cuddle from my kids. They're still at home, at least for this week, or from my husband if he's been good, right? Maybe I'll order something nice online, and it doesn't have to be something super expensive. It can be a nice journal. It can be a nice essential oil. I love essential oils. So I set myself rewards, and I really enjoy my flow state. And also what I had to do back in the days when I was super go, and nothing would stop me, right? I was totally in my masculine all day. What I did at the time was to reframe my thinking about what it means to take a rest. And that it was huge, right? Because my subconscious program, subconsciously I knew you have to take rests every 90 minutes. There's research to back it up, right? But subconsciously, there was like this thing spinning. No, people who lie in bed during the day are lazy bastards. That's not you. You're not lazy like other people, right? I was judging myself for taking breaks subconsciously. And that was because when I did the work where somebody regressed me, so the question was, why is it so hard for me to take breaks and to do proper self-care?
Yeah.
He regressed me. I went back to seeing where I was sick. I had a temperature. I was lying in bed, and my dad came and shouted at me saying, "You're so lazy. You're not my daughter. Get out of bed. You should be helping your mother in the kitchen. You should be doing X, Y, Z," right? And this happened when I was quite young. I was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old. So that got imprinted on my subconscious back in the days. So, and I never would have known that happened, because that was a scene that my conscious mind had forgotten about. So when I exchanged sessions with another RTT therapist, that's what we discovered. And that's when I understood that was the program that's running. We reprogrammed it. And I said, look, as a child, I didn't realize how mad my dad was. I don't care about this stuff anymore. He's not here where I live, and I don't really care about what he thinks, I'm years old. I make my own decisions. I know that taking breaks will increase my productivity, and it will help me help other people so much better if I take breaks. And then that did the trick for me, Cheryl.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Reframing the why. It's amazing. I've got some questions to ask it. The time just goes. We've only got 3 minutes left. But I've got questions that have come through, and then you can share. We'll definitely share your information and details for anyone who would like to explore, if they want to speak to you about their sleep or their diet or their nutrition. Or so somebody said, just let me have a look. Tina asked, can you advise a good light model? She's looked in the past, but there's so much choice and some are so expensive.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's really about personal preference. So maybe ask around other people who have these lamps.
Right.
My clients have all sorts of different lamps, and it's really personal preference.
Okay. So, well, Wendy, you said you've got one, so maybe you could share. I think somebody said you can get them for 30 quid on Amazon, but Wendy, I know you've got one, maybe you could share yours. And then, Bianca, we have another question from, there's loads of comments on there. You can go and have a look after. But Yvette says, are you a fan of time-restricted eating, i.e. 16-hour fasts at night?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. So yes and no. It definitely works for a lot of people. It works very well for men. Intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating works very well for men. Most of the scientific research in the health space, in the personal training space, has been done on college-age men, and it's completely omitted women like Cheryl and me. And like you probably, right? So women who in between the first and the last day that they have their period. So there is some research that actually says intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating does not work for women in the second half of their cycle.
Right.
So by all means, we're all different. We're all unique, so try it out. That's what I tell my clients, right? I don't tell anybody you have to do it like this, because we're all different. It may work perfectly for you. The only way to find it out is to give it a try. Maybe during different times of your cycle, if you have one, and then see how you feel with it and how it works for you. Maybe you can slightly change the timings as well. Some rules are very... Yeah, just try it out, basically.
Try it. Thank you. And then it's 1 o'clock now, so we're out of time. But when would you recommend? Like, when should you stop eating? Basically, before, because you said leading up to bedtime, not sitting eating wine. We reward ourselves at night with gin and some chocolate because we've done really well. You're rewarding yourself with essential oils. We're rewarding ourselves with pizza, wine, gin, crisps. Like, when would you say would be a reasonable time to have your dinner? And then if you want to have a glass of wine or a gin, so that it's like minimizes the impact to your sleep.
Definitely, I would say whatever you do, if you want some sugar or if you want some alcohol, have it as part of a meal. So that with protein in it and with fat in it, so that the absorption happens slower and therefore your blood sugar spikes and crashes are less pronounced. We all have different metabolisms. We all react differently to things, right? If I drink a coffee in the morning, I promise you I won't sleep at night. That's how sensitive I am to caffeine. Other people are a lot less sensitive. So the general recommendation is stop eating and drinking 3 hours before bed, but it may, be a shorter time gap for you. So again, the key here is to experiment. There's one other thing I wanted to mention that's really important.
Yeah.
Stop saying fall asleep and stop saying go to sleep, because you are confusing your subconscious mind. When you lie down at night in bed and you tell yourself, I'm going to sleep, I'm going to sleep, I'm going to sleep, your subconscious mind is really confused because it goes, you're lying down. You're telling me you want to go somewhere? I don't get it, right? When you're saying to your subconscious mind, I want to fall asleep, I want to fall asleep, I want to fall asleep, your subconscious mind says, what are you talking about? Falling really hurts. You're not going to fall.
Wow.
So here's what to say instead. What you want to say instead is, sleep comes to me and it stays with me through the night.
Sleep comes to me and it stays with me through the night.
Exactly, yeah, and that makes all the difference. And I know it's just words. It's just words, but words are so powerful, right?
Yeah.
They're so powerful. Like Cheryl and Donna teach you guys to not use the word should. Stop shoulding all over yourself, right? So this is quite similar to deleting the word should from your vocabulary. Just stop saying falling asleep and going to sleep and using sleep is coming to me instead. Because as a child, sleep just came to you when it was the time, right? So you can reprogram yourself to that state again.
Amazing. Thank you so much. This has been so informative. Absolutely amazing. Yvette's been capturing the top tips, which is amazing. And we've got some other comments there, so you can go back and have a look. And if any, we can put your links in, but if anyone wants to find you, where do they go?
Yeah, so I have a website, biancariemer.com. There's also a free From Burned Out to Bossing It course in there that will help you raise your energy levels and sleep better at night. So it contains practical tips, a day-to-day guide for what we talked about today. And most people find that they increase their energy levels by at least 50% when they go through that program.
Amazing. Right. Well, we'll put the link in here as well so people can get access. And then we'll be putting this on YouTube as well, Bianca. So we'll put the links in there. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
it's been so informative.
For having me.
You're very welcome. And yes, have a great day, everyone in the solar system and YouTube. Bye.
Bye.